All right, ladies and gentlemen of D-Class personnel, sit down. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Commander and I'm going to be briefing you on the SCP you're about to go study out in the field, so pay attention. What we're looking at today, SCP-3547, Object Class, Urgent Reclassification Required, Special Containment Procedures. No longer contained. All Foundation resources should be concentrated on recontainment of SCP-3547 at the highest priority. Now, these are archived containment procedures. Go ahead and pass these around. Ignore what's been crossed out. Do not read it. SCP-3547-A is now held in a maximum security storage unit at Site 19. Due to the incident described in Experiment Log 3547-4, access to staff of all levels is denied, and all experimentation regarding SCP-3547-A is forbidden. The use of SCP-3547-A could theoretically cause a W-class eclipse of consciousness scenario. SCP-3547 itself is currently prevented from entering this universe, so can be regarded as indefinitely contained. Description: SCP-3547 is a potentially sapient interdimensional entity that has the ability to contact human subjects via their subconscious during delta wave non-REM sleep, so long as the subject has been made aware of the existence of it beforehand and they wish to communicate with it of their own free will. Subjects who claim to have communicated with SCP-3547 during this dreamlike state describe it as a large, vaguely humanoid mass of strands of an unknown composition suspended within a dark blue-green void. Subjects report feeling nauseous when looking at SCP-3547, but felt compelled to continue looking nonetheless. Those who dream of SCP-3547 describe its communication as thoughts and feelings that manifest in their mind spontaneously. After multiple encounters with SCP-3547, subjects will speak about it with profuse positivity and religious fervor, claiming that bringing it into our universe would save all of humanity, although the specifics of this remain vague. All subjects tested stated they believed the entity wanted to come closer to them and embrace them, but it was apprehensive for unknown reasons. SCP-3547 is referenced in a collection of Anglo-Saxon manuscripts written around the 9th century, which were bound into a single tome at a later unknown date. The title of the collection is, go ahead and read that, good luck, which roughly translates to Dreams of Our Beloved. The book is currently stored in the Secure Document Storage Facility at Site 11. The collection features several poems describing SCP-3547 as a savior of the authors of the texts. One poem is an instruction on how to construct an item called the Lucid Crown. The poem goes on to explain that the coronet facilitates the communication with SCP-3547 and that the audience with our beloved can be shared if another sleeps awake with the wearer of the crown. It can be assumed that this is referring to the effects of the electromagnetic field produced by the Lucid Crown. It is unclear whether the authors of the texts constructed the Lucid Crown themselves or recovered it from elsewhere. -A is an ornate but roughly constructed coronet matching the description of the Lucid Crown. It's made of copper, featuring 8 iridescent blue stones of unknown composition equally spaced around the perimeter. The stones protrude inwards through the coronet so that they may make contact with the wearer's head. If a subject who was aware of SCP-3547 sleeps while wearing -A, their encounter with SCP-3547 becomes far more vivid and lucid. All test subjects reported that they believed SCP-3547 felt far more comfortable approaching them in this encounter, with some reporting that SCP-3547 was apparently bold enough to reach toward them and lightly stroke their head. While the subject is asleep wearing SCP-3547-A, the stones surrounding it emit an anomalous electromagnetic field at a frequency outside the range measurable by standard equipment, which causes anyone in range to instantly enter Stage 3 non-REM sleep. This is an Experiment Log 3547-2. Anyone affected by this field will share the dream of the wearer of -A. The range of this field is variable. This is an Experiment Log 3547-4. One passage of note from Dreams of Our Beloved describes a procedure that was explained to the author by SCP-3547 during a dream. The procedure appears to be a ceremony designed to allow SCP-3547 to enter our universe permanently as a corporeal manifestation. To perform the ceremony, a volunteer must willfully wear -A while sleeping outdoors, have it struck by lightning whilst communicating with SCP-3547. The manner in which the entity manifests in our universe is not described. No mention of success or failure to perform the ceremony is recorded in the collection. The low probability of a precise lightning strike on the coronet suggests that the successful completion of the ceremony is unlikely. Now, this is experiment log 3547-1. Date 19/05/18. D-2374 was picked from a group of potential test subjects due to his willingness to communicate with SCP-3547 in return for improved living conditions. D-2374 is placed in a standard human containment cell with bedding and monitoring equipment. Subject falls asleep after 20 minutes and sleeps for approximately 6 hours. Subject is visibly slightly restless during the final 30 minutes of sleep. Subject interviewed by Dr. Jennifer Alexander after waking. Dr. Alexander, did you sleep well? D-2374, yeah, kind of. Dr. Alexander, did you dream? 2374, yeah, I did. Dr. Alexander, what did you dream of? Do you remember? 2374, the thing you guys told me about. Him. Alexander, SCP-3547? 2374. I think he's called the Night Emperor. I think that's what he wants to be called. Yeah, him. Dr. Alexander. Okay, what does SCP-3547 look like? 2374. It's difficult to look at him. It made me feel sick, like motion sickness or something like that. Dr. Alexander. But what did it, or he, actually look like? 2374. He's human-ish, I think, but made of strands of something, like hair floating in water. Dr. Alexander. Okay, did he say anything to you? 2374. Sort of. I thought what he was thinking somehow, if that makes sense. He wants to be with us. It's kind of fuzzy, but he needs us to sleep before he can save us? Dr. Alexander. What does he mean by save us? Save us from what? 2374. We must sleep. Just sleep. I don't know. Dr. Alexander. Thank you, that'll be all. 2374. He wants to be with us. I'm certain of that much. Dr. Alexander. Thank you. Interview terminated. Now, this is experiment log 3547-2, date 20/05/18. D-2374 is placed into the same containment cell as used in experiment 3547-1. This is a repeat of the first experiment, but this time D-2374 slept while wearing -A. After the subject had been asleep for 6 hours, they became visibly restless, as noted in experiment 3547-1. At this time, Dr. Robert Chapman entered the containment cell to check the EEG equipment attached to D-2374. As Dr. Chapman leaned over, he fell unconscious and collapsed onto D-2374. The impact immediately woke D-2374 and Dr. Chapman. Both D-2374 and Dr. Chapman claimed they briefly saw each other within D-2374's dream before they woke up. D-2374 claimed to have been dreaming that he was suspended within a void awaiting an audience with the Night Emperor when Dr. Chapman suddenly appeared next to him and they both woke up. Interference and telemetry from the equipment shows that the range of the field was around 1 meter. This is experiment log 3547-3. Go ahead and pass that around. Date 22/05/18. D-2374 is placed into the same containment cell with -A in a repeat of experiment 3547-2. As D-2374 enters the restless phase of sleep, D-2376, who has had SCP-3547 explained to them, is moved to within 1 meter of D-2374's bed in a wheelchair by Dr. Robert Chapman. As D-2376 enters the field, she instantly falls asleep. Upon awakening, they are interviewed together by Dr. Jennifer Alexander. Dr. Alexander. So did you both see each other in the dream? Did you see SCP-3547? 2374 and 2376 smile intently at each other and reach across the table to hold hands. 2376, yes, we did. We saw each other and our beloved granted us an audience. Dr. Alexander, stay back in your chairs, please. What do you mean by beloved? D-2374 to D-2376. Our beloved, he'll be with us soon as we sleep, as soon as we all sleep. Dr. Alexander, okay, but did he say anything specific to you both? 2374, he's delighted that your foundation is taking an interest in him, but he can only save us if we sleep, all of us. D-2374, tell everyone. Everyone must know his message. He can only perform his work if all of our minds look away. Dr. Alexander, save us from what? What work is it he planning to do? 2374 and 2376 in unison. Wait and rest. We must sleep. Only when we awaken will we behold our beloved's work. Dr. Alexander audibly sighs. That'll do. Interview terminated. Now this is experiment log 3547-4, date 2305-18. The experiment was intended to be a repeat of experiment 3547-2 with D-2374 given a list of specific questions to ask SCP-3547. After being locked into the containment cell, D-2374 got out of bed, crouched down, and pushed his head against the wall, inserting one of Dash-A's protrusions into a power socket before security staff could stop him. At that moment, all staff in the western half of Site 11 instantly fell asleep. Dr. Michael Cross, who was just sat outside of the radius of the field in his laboratory, raised the alarm after several of his laboratory technicians dropped unconscious to the floor at the same time. Several staff members rushed into the field to assist their colleagues, but also fell unconscious. Site 11 was put on full code red lockdown, and all staff commanded to remain at their current locations. Diagnostic tests on Foundation radio equipment estimate that the radius of the field was approximately 76 meters. Post-incident interviews revealed that all affected staff shared a common dream of SCP-3547. The dream consisted of all affected subjects suspended together in a blue-green void as SCP-3547 delivered a sermon to them by projecting comforting thoughts and an insistence that they spread its message so that it may save humanity and join us in our world. While communicating with the subjects, SCP-3547 extended a bundle of fibrous tendrils to each person that wrapped around their heads and extended outwards, forming a web of fibers between them. D-1234 woke up approximately 7 hours after the incident, followed by all other affected personnel. Everyone who had experienced the dream woke up weeping with joy and eager to embrace one another. All subjects were insistent that the Foundation must perform the ceremony described in Dreams of Our Beloved as soon as feasibly possible. Class A amnestics were administered to all affected staff. All affected D-Class personnel were terminated, including 2374 and 2376. Now, this is urgent, no longer contained. Please assist, it says. Go ahead and log in. Okay, now, this is from 9/6/2018. It states, I'm so sorry. My name is Dr. Rebecca Powell of Site 19. I don't have the authorization to edit this document, but I'll deal with the fallout from that if we get out of this. I was right. I read through the Dreams of Our Beloved during my research into extra-dimensional anomalies, and I recognized what's happening straight away. Someone's done it. I have no idea who or where, but they've done it. I blacked out during the night shift at my desk earlier, and now I'm awake with this stuff stuck to and possibly in my head. I can't really turn too well, but I think it extends out the door and down the corridor. I called out for help, but either everyone's knocked out or I'm the only one here. I can't get it out of my head. If I struggle against it, it just gets tighter. If I try and pull it out, it feels like it burrows in deeper. I think it's best to just leave it alone for now. I can't move, but I can at least type at my terminal. This is on 10/6/2018. The initial shock has subsided, but I've not slept at all. I feel okay, though. This is going to sound strange, but I think I can feel what other people are feeling, or maybe thinking elsewhere, like we're connected through this stuff. Now I've calmed down a little. I feel good. Actually, really good despite the circumstances. I think everyone else does too. Still, I'm kind of seizing up a bit and I really need to get up and stretch. I tried sawing through the stuff on my head with my keys, but every time I cut through a piece, it just reattaches. It's organic, I think. Cold to the touch, but possibly alive somehow. It has a kind of bluish glow to it that seems to shimmer slightly to match the patterns of my thoughts. I don't feel thirsty or hungry yet, which is odd. This is on 11/6/2018. Still not slept. I can feel it. It's in there somewhere. I think others out there are convinced it's going to save us from something. I don't know what or how. It feels like all of humanity is just waiting. I'm really aching now. I need to get up and stretch my back. I don't feel so good anymore. I've had some time to think about what's happening, and I'm going to request reclassification of SCP-3547 and archive the old containment procedures. They're useless now anyway. I know it's a huge breach of protocol, but if anyone else ever reads this again, I'll consider it a win. I'll try and sleep again after I've done that. I'm starting to panic now. This is on 12/06/2018. Still awake, still waiting. The waiting and not being able to sleep is becoming agonizing. There's nothing I can do but wait. Everyone's waiting. I feel something. I think it's SCP-3547 itself. Himself. I think we betrayed him. I don't know how or why. Still, some remain faithful to their beloved. I close my eyes for hours, and nothing happens. This is on 14/06/2018. Still waiting. Exhausted but awake. This one is 19/06/2018. Nothing I can do. Just wait and wait and wait. Still awake. All I can feel is despair and the desperation of the faithful. You gave them your word. Do something. Let me sleep. Let us sleep. You're killing us. This was on 20/06/2018. I can't stay like this anymore. Others are disappearing. Quieter every hour. Quieter and quieter. The blue is getting fainter. He's still just watching. Please let me sleep. Please let me fucking sleep. This next one is on 21/06/2018, and it simply states, no more. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was SCP-3547. Dismissed.